help you, but at the same time, we're still highlighting your faults. Like I'm saying, he's a real negative person. How can we make him more positive?
Okay. I mean, from my point of view, your intention is that. Is it genuinely you are worried, concerned?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm trying to downside Jesus only to see how do we help him.
Okay, then if your journey is from how are you will sense that you are okay, I will tell you that you have misunderstood the whole thing. That your is addressing that way. Or you will say, actually this is what is also bothering me. I didn't know how to bring it to this one talking. So the two of you then go and talk to him. Now between yourself, you cannot really go on talk about him and then do nothing. Because if you have not adopted an approach to address that matter, then you have been bankrupt. But the intention is that to tell him and then you are doing and find a solution and help him to overcome that. So in this there is a genuine concern, the sense of friendship and camaraderie that word. The intention was not to put him down.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. So the intention is to benefit a friend, but we're still discussing some of your shortcomings, but it's just in light of trying to see how can I help you.
Exactly. A friend has to be concerned with your other friend is not understanding that what damage she's done to herself.
It's a hard area. It's a gray area because sometimes it can go from being backbiting to not, and the intention can also alter as well.
So from what we learned that as a Baha'i, if you come to me and talk about something, I should immediately tell you that I'm sorry, this is not my business. I'm not interested in this matter. You want anything? It's not that I should allow you to for 10 minutes talk about that. I said, sorry, I'm not interested.
Let's start the game. Just kind of, you need to memorize it.
The purpose of this unit, as mentioned in the beginning, is to assist participants in their efforts to develop and strengthen the habit of reading passages from the holy writings every day and reflecting on their meaning. To read the verses of God every morning and evening is a teaching of Baha'u'llah, conducive to our spiritual development. The following passage reminds us of the bounties we receive from fulfilling this obligation, and you are encouraged to commit it to memory. Immerse yourselves in the ocean of my words, that ye may unravel its secrets, and discover all the pearls of wisdom that lie hid in its depths.
Any thoughts on that quote? Any insights?
So, you finished now?
We can just discuss this quote quickly. The last one. I think something quite noteworthy that I was reading recently was discussing about the depth of meaning in the words of God, and how within the words of God there so many layers of meaning that we don't really comprehend. We take a very surface level appreciation of what the words of God manifest. However, within them there is layers deep of meaning and wisdom and understanding. So much so that it was said that for a single quotation from the Quran, Baha'u'llah could write 3,000 verses, the first letter of it. The first singular letter of the verse in the Quran, Baha'u'llah wrote 3,000 verses on it. And so it goes to show that when we see a singular letter, we don't appreciate, or we can't appreciate the depth of knowledge that lays hidden within the verses of God, because it's coming from God, right? And so that's why within all the writings of God, there is so much depth, so much meaning. That's why we can continue to keep learning, appreciating more, and unraveling more, right? And it's important for us to then view them with greater depth, rather than just just briefly reading over it and feeling that we have a sufficient understanding. We have to appreciate that the level of our knowledge of a certain verse is very limited. The whole also says that people will never really understand the significance of prayer. You can't understand it, right? Because the bestowals that we receive from prayer is infinite. You can never really, when you say a prayer, you'll never appreciate the significance it will have on your soul, because you just simply can't understand it. It's not comprehensible to you as a human being. And so that's what's significant as well, is that when we read prayers, we tend to sort of dismiss the potency of prayer and the spiritual words. But then the Holy tells us that the impact is infinite on our souls. We'll never understand it here on this world. Maybe we'll never understand it fully. But I think that's what this is trying to tell us, especially sort of tying the knot on this entire set unit. It's getting us to think about the significance of the spiritual world and why it's so important for us to reflect on it.
And also, adding to what you're saying, which is fantastic, is that each one of us are in different journey and level of spiritual gain. So I read a writing now, I may not think about it, but a month from now, because I'm in a different sphere, then it makes sense to me. That's why no matter how many times I read this book one, every time I read it, I learn new things because of that progress that me individually have done. Therefore, I gain something deeper. The next time, something deeper. And that adds to the level of my understanding. So you are right. We have to read the writings and also see where we are standing and what we gain or learn from it and how we can put it into practice in our everyday lives.
Another thing is, a lot of these quotations are revealed at a time, at this particular time, which we don't know what the occasion was, that relates to that particular time. And so we need to understand the history and when that quotation was revealed, because we just read it by itself, it may not make any sense, but if you read it, when it actually happened to a particular reason, it makes more sense.
I think here, this passage to develop and strengthen the habit of reading passages from the holy writings every day. So I think we got to have a habit of, every day. Because if you're reading once a week or once a month, you will easily forget, and then like if you have a vaccine, after a few months, the vaccine effect goes. So ask him to have boost again, because it doesn't last forever. So if even this, the the effect of holy writings. You know, you got to be, you know, reading and you know, familiar with every day, and then it will, you know, continuously affect you. You know, so.
But what's also important is that from the initial purpose in the book, we mentioned that we need to build the habit to just not read, because many of us just read and don't meditate on the meaning of it. And so it's also advising us that it's essential for us to read and meditate and reflect on the meaning. So rather than just giving a small portion of time to reading it, we should also give ample time to sitting, pondering, reflecting, and thinking about application of this particular writing to our